Welcome to Talk with Tara, the podcast where we dive into the bold, the funny, and the fascinating. I'm Tara, your host, bringing you unfiltered conversations on life, love, and everything in between. Hit that follow button so you're always in the loop. And now, let's get started. Finding your joy again. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I really ask all my listeners, if you could please subscribe to my show and share it with a friend. It really helps my show grow and it motivates me to keep going. So I really have that ask of you. And I'm very grateful if you do that. So welcome back to my show. Today's conversation is for every woman who has ever looked around at life and said to herself after she's built everything, I should be so happy. My kids are grown. I did my part if I'm working or if I wasn't working, if I was a stay-at-home mom, which is a full-time job. And now I'm alone, they're gone, I'm in my marriage or I'm out of my marriage, but why do I feel so unfulfilled? What brings me joy? I had this conversation with someone just the other day. So many women spend years taking care of everyone else and we build careers, raise families, support partners, and we check all the boxes that society tells us should make us feel great and successful. Yet somewhere along the way, many of us lose touch with ourselves, our passions, our hobbies, and what truly brings us joy. Today, we have a very special guest who specializes in this, Katie Pulsifer. She's a master certified life coach. She's the creator of Golden Coaching Certification and a trusted guide for women who have outgrown the lives they spent years building. She's got more than 13 years of coaching experience, including 5 years as an executive leader at the Life Coach School. She's trained thousands of coaches and helped countless women navigate major life transitions with clarity, courage, and confidence. She's known for warmth, wisdom, and practical advice, and she helps high-achieving women move from feeling overwhelmed, disconnected, unfulfilled to living lives that they feel grounded, purposeful, and deeply aligned with who they truly are. Whether you're navigating divorce, career changes, empty nests, dating, burnout, or simply feeling like you're called to do more, Katie's work centers on helping women stop living by everyone else's definition of success and start creating lives they genuinely love. So welcome to my show, Katie. I'm so happy to have you. I'm kind of in this funk myself. So this is like going to be a session for me too. Tell me about your journey and how you help women find joy and what brought you to this.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It is just such a privilege to be here. I've been this woman. I continue to meet a version of her in myself, and I probably will forever, because I think we just are confronted with this often. I came to this because my marriage of 20 years fell apart in about a decade ago, or a little longer than that now. Didn't see it coming. And my corporate cushy career that I loved was not doing it for me anymore. And I was just, everything felt like it was falling apart. And it was, as many of these moments are, the hardest thing ever and the best thing ever, because it was an opportunity to say, where have I lost myself in all of this? For all the right reasons. I'm so glad I was married. I'm so glad I have my daughter. I'm so glad I did that first version of marriage. And when it didn't work out, I am so glad I got to lay down things that weren't working anymore, pick up things that I had forgotten I cared about, find new things that matter, fall in love again, and get through all of it with understanding coaching. That is honestly what helped me. I mean, it's not like I came up with any of those things on my own in the beginning. A coach really helped me.
So how did you first decide to leave the cushy corporate job with insurance and benefits and then say, oh, I want to do something on my own? How did you get the brave feeling to do that? Bravery. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah, well, after I had my second panic attack at corporate, the first one was on an airplane flying back from Tokyo.
Oh, wow.
I used to do a lot of overseas travel for my job. And when I had a panic attack way up in the sky, flying
Oh.
from Tokyo to the East Coast. That was like a big warning sign to me. And then I had another panic attack at work.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't feel courageous to me at all. I will tell you that. It just felt like the thing I had to do.
Okay.
And I didn't know how it was going to work out. I didn't know necessarily what I was going to do next. But what I knew about myself is that I'm flexible, I'm adaptable, I make things work, and somehow this would too. But I was scared. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I will not lie. I was scared because I was doing that in the exact same month that I was finally saying, okay, 3 months of separation and we really don't know what it is that we're doing. No, we are ending this. So I did
Right.
both of those things within 30 days of one another.
Wow. That's amazing. And then how did you, okay, so you do those things and what's next for you?
Time off
Mm-hmm.
and reconnecting to me, and really trying to figure out, like, who am I? What is this new identity that I'm going to inhabit? I didn't use any of that language then.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more like, what do I like to eat? Where do I like to go? What music will I play if no one else is in the house?
Yeah.
And I want to dance without feeling like there's going to be any judgment, right?
Right.
Um, who do I want to spend time with? What friendships lift me up? How do I want to present myself to the world right now? So it was just a lot of questions like that. I answered a lot of them in my journal. I
Mm-hmm.
figured a lot of them out the hard way by trying things and being like, nope, that's not it.
Yeah. What are some things that you tried that you didn't like?
Well, I thought immediately that I would fall into a similar career. I was in
Mm-hmm.
product development and product design and corporate merchandising and retail. And so I spent a lot of time perfecting a resume and doing all the things you do on LinkedIn to be like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
available to work. And turns out that is not at all what I ended up pursuing, because I'm a life coach.
Right.
But it was, I was on that path because that's like the smart thing you do. You just go get that next job
Next job. Yeah.
in the same field. So
Mm-hmm. And then, so you're like, you didn't move to the next job. And then you're like, I want to do something totally different. And how did you come up with coaching? And that's a big transition. So what were the steps that got you there?
well, honestly, I mean, I was working with a coach at the time.
Oh, got
I
it.
I was being coached. I came to that as like an intuitive hit that I
Yeah.
thought this might be the thing that helps me during that period of so much unrest and transition. And it was actually a former coworker, my former boss. When I think of it, the first person that hired me in that job went through a very similar experience to me with my marriage
Mm-hmm.
falling apart. And I said one day that this will be the best thing that ever happened to you. And she said, will you coach me?
Wow.
And that's the first coaching relationship I
Uh-huh.
had. And that's what kicked it off.
Wow.
And I
That's
think it
great.
was like that belief in her that this could be amazing, and
Yeah.
holding that belief, which is one of my most favorite things to do with all of my clients, is hold the belief until they're ready to pick it up and run with it themselves.
Okay. Let's talk about that. So when you say hold the belief, why don't you give me an example?
Yeah. So, I mean, part of it is understanding your brain's bias to protect what it knows.
Mm-hmm.
So your brain is going to argue against your dream all day long because the brain
Mm-hmm.
knows this version of you that goes to this job, that has the commute, that makes this amount of money, that has these benefits, what it feels like to come home after a day's work. If you work outside of the home, I'm
Yep.
just assuming you do, but it's like the brain's like, we've got this dialed. This,
Yes.
this is effortless for us.
Mm-hmm.
You writing a book, you being a podcast host, more than you already are.
Right. Like a full-time job.
Yeah, your brain, all of our human brains, your brain is like, oh no, that's a terrible idea.
Right.
It'll be too much work. It'll be too hard. It might not work out. You might never get paid. So it argues against the thing that you want that would make your heart soar or be
Right.
your life force. It argues against that only because its bias is not for your fulfillment or your happiness, but the protection of what's known,
Right.
this version of your life. But
Mm-hmm.
I can believe in you because I know that I could teach you how to override your brain's programming
Mm-hmm.
to pursue your dream. So it's so
Mm-hmm.
easy for me to believe in you because it's like,
Right.
oh, once I help you work with this brain of yours and stop listening to it all the time, sky's the limit.
Wow. So do you have some success stories that you've worked with some clients who have gone to fulfill their passions and joy? And if yes, how have they done that? Like, how have you inspired them?
Oh, yeah, so many, right? So it's from my very first client who thought her life was ending when her husband left her to it was the best thing that could have possibly ever happened to her, to women starting businesses. I have a client who is writing a book right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People who sign clients but they were terrified to put themselves out there and ask someone to work with them. I mean, and the work is, I mean, we're always going to be confronting hard things. So
Right.
this is a lifelong skill of learning how to create safety within yourself, to do the hard thing, to keep telling your brain, I know you love this job I have. I know you love it, brain. I'm meant for more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm meant to do bigger things. So it's the like unlearning of the brain's programming. It's creating safety in the body, safety within your nervous system to take small steps towards building the thing that you want to build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
So, okay, that's interesting. You said when we first spoke, because
mm,
listeners, I always have a little pre-call before
yeah.
I have a podcast guest because you have to have chemistry with your guest. That's how it works. And we spoke about happiness and joy, and a lot of women kind of don't know what their joy is. Like they're not finding joy in life. So what's the difference between, I'm digressing from a new topic, happiness and joy?
Well, I mean,
Are they the same?
I don't think they're the same. And I also don't know if it really matters in the big scheme
Mm-hmm.
of things, right? So some people will say that happiness is a bit more fleeting and it's more about like isolated moments or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Joy might be deeper, more connected to your meaning, your purpose, your why you're here. It might involve other people. They're brilliant people that are creating definitions around these words all the time. I think what really matters is what is a term that lands with you.
I like joy.
I like joy too.
Mm-hmm.
I that's the one I tend to use, and I think we all have the freedom to pick the word that
Mm-hmm.
resonates most deeply, that we feel most connected with. It could change. I probably was only chasing happiness in my 20s and 30s. Now, joy matters to me more.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know why? No. Does it matter? No.
How do we find our joy? Like, what are some steps that you give your clients?
Yeah.
Sometimes I know that someone who's close to me said, I don't think you're finding your joy in life right now. You need to go find joy. And I'm like, what brings you joy? And she asked me, what brings you joy? And I said, waking up in the morning, going to my little coffee place and going to the gym and working out or going on a walk first thing in the morning. And she's
Yeah.
like, you need to get up, just get out of bed, talk to yourself and go do that. If that brings you joy, go do that. So what are some of your tips for your clients and how to find your joy? Because I do feel like you really hit on something when you say that. I do hear midlife women saying that a lot. Like I was just talking to someone in the office the other day and she's like, I don't know what my hobbies are. I don't know what brings me joy. She actually said that.
Yes. Well, I think so many things are going on. You said it in your intro that our prioritization of others kind of creates what we think is our joy. And a lot of times we get a tremendous amount of satisfaction caring for others, being in relationships when they're working and they're healthy and amazing, jobs we have, passions that matter to us when we're younger. We change, we evolve, the people in our lives change and evolve. Sometimes we are in a habit of deprioritizing ourselves, so we don't even think to ask ourselves the question. So that's the very first step. And your friend did it with you beautifully. It's like, what brings you joy at this season of your life, in this moment? Most of the time, my clients can't answer that question. I couldn't answer it either when my coach asked me that 14 years ago. Had absolutely no idea. It was a blank piece of paper for a very, very long time. So my hack for this, or my little tip, is to ask your senses to get involved. What do you like to see? What do you like to smell? What do you like to taste? What do you like to hear? What do you like to touch? And when I framed it that way, the very first thing that came out on my piece of paper of what brings me joy was a juicy peach. And then it was sunshine on my shoulders. And then it was listening to applause in an auditorium after a live dance performance. And then I couldn't stop writing.
Wow.
But it was like, I had to not be in my head. Logically, what brings me joy? Thinking, because I had to go through all those file folders of my daughter's joy and my ex-husband's joy. And, it's
right.
It's like,
what's
no,
your joy?
What's me? So the senses, they provided a lot of answers for me, my senses.
Okay. So that's a good tip to really tap into your senses to feel your joy. Okay. So many women in my audience are dating again and they're divorced. They're wondering if they're ever going to find some. I hear a lot of women saying like, all men are bad. I'm not going to find anybody. I'm going to be alone. A lot of women I know are really, we talked about this as well, scared to be alone. Have you worked with women when it comes to, because you work with a lot of successful women, and have you worked with corporate or successful women who are not able to find that special person?
Oh, of course. Or they've lost a spouse. The marriage has ended. Absolutely. And putting themselves back out there, moving on, readying themselves for whatever their journey is supposed to be can be extremely challenging. It was for me as well. I will tell you that I was literally the one pushing my grocery cart around as a single woman in my mid-40s, literally having the thought, I think if someone bumped their cart into my cart, I wouldn't even feel it because I don't even think I exist. Like, I don't even think people see me. I think I'm going to be alone. I think I'm going to be never with a partnered again. Like, I couldn't see it for myself. Again, my brain was painting this picture of singleness with me forever and catastrophizing my future. Right. So again, it's a very similar thing. We do that quite a bit. So yeah, it's common to feel like it won't change. It won't be different next time. I'll never meet anyone.
How do you work with women who have those negative thoughts in their head?
Well, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's identifying how much is at stake for your brain for you to not make a single change. So the brain's really invested in you staying single. And then often I think we can surround ourselves with people that reinforce that story. So sometimes we have to be a little more discerning on where we're spending our time and what we're putting our attention on. Are we spending our time thinking about possibility and potential amazing outcomes? Or are we spending our time thinking about everything that can go wrong, all the problems that are out there? Because it's almost like it's just two different sets of glasses that we pick up and put on every day.
Yeah.
One paints our future in a negative light, and one paints our future in a very positive light.
Do you find it when people put on the positive glasses that positive things happen to them? Like, what's been your experience in coaching so many women?
Absolutely, because when we are thinking more positive things about potential, possibility, exciting futures, writing books, partnering again, being a full-time podcast host, when we're letting ourselves daydream about that and be excited by it, that's what we attract in. And that's literally what our brain will begin to focus on, is finding that and proving it true. Because the other really cool thing to know about your brain is it loves to be right. So if you're like, I'm going to be a podcast host full time, and you are really like practicing and leaning into that belief, your brain is going to go to work to make that happen for you.
Yeah.
But if you're
Because law of
practicing,
attraction.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yes. With also doing a lot of work to make it happen too.
Right. You can't just be like meditating, law of attraction.
No.
And then Prince Charming. But, my mom always said that if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. She has like a different theory. And she's like, you could be home, never out, mingling with people. And Prince Charming can show up at your door. And then she's had a few people that have just literally, like, her neighbor really wanted to find a mate. She was probably, I don't know, maybe late 60s, early 70s, really wanted to find a mate. And she has this nice house, and she had this roommate move in with her because she subsidizes her income with her nice house. And he was a radio host for a local radio, and they became a couple. I mean, literally, she went looking here and looking there, and he just came knocking at her door.
Amazing.
And my mom told me another story when I was a kid. There was a lady on our street who was a widower, and she really wanted to meet someone, but she wasn't meeting anyone. It was really hard for her. And this guy she lost her dog. I think she lost her dog. And the guy found the dog and came knocking at the door. Like somebody said, oh, she lives there, the person who owns that dog. And they ended up becoming a couple. So sometimes you put it out there and it just comes to you. I mean, you do have to do the work for the most part, but sometimes things just come to you. That's happened to me, you know.
And I wonder how much work there was happening in the background where both of these women were sort of readying themselves. They didn't know where their person was going to come from, but they were preparing in their habits or their patterns or the way they took care of themselves or the way they talked to themselves. Like they were already like getting warmed up and ready to meet someone.
How do you give people, your clients, feedback that's not positive? Like, let's say you have a client and she's like, oh, I really want to start dating. And let's say she hasn't been taking care of herself in her marriage. Like she's maybe a little bit overweight. She doesn't exercise anymore. She's not doing the things like outwardly to be the flower, to attract a butterfly. How do you tell people, I'm just curious, this is my own curiosity, how to improve themselves without hurting their feelings?
Well, I don't think my job is to tell anyone what to do or to give anyone feedback. So I love taking the approach of just asking a ton of questions. So how do you feel about the body that you're inhabiting every day? How do you feel about the way you present yourself to the world? How do you feel about the way you move or the way you talk to yourself or the way you introduce yourself? And that might tease out, I really want to work on XYZ. And then it was like, let's work on XYZ.
Okay, got it.
I think it's going to be more meaningful and change will happen when the change comes from within the person versus me, the coach, saying, this is my recommendation for you.
Yeah.
I think it has to be. And so I just ask a ton of questions to get at, like, what is that thing that you may want to change or you may not want to?
Right. That's a really good process. Okay. These are some questions I wrote down that I'm curious about. What is one thing that women are chasing that you feel they really don't need, that you've noticed in your practice? Is there something that you've noticed as a trend where women really want something and it's something that's just unnecessary?
Oh, wow. There's so many answers to this question. Can I give
Yeah.
more than one?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I would say what came to me at the top of the list is wanting to make sure everyone is comfortable with who we are,
Mm-hmm.
who we want to be. Maybe it's permission seeking. It's tending to everyone's feelings and making sure everyone's okay so that then we can be okay.
Right.
Makes a ton of sense in the way that we're socialized to be so externally thoughtful and careful and caretaking. I think we also care a lot about what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
that's a cousin of this. We're worried about being judged. We're worried about being misunderstood. We're worried about not being liked. All extremely human experiences. We want to be included. We want to be us and we want to be included.
Right.
So it's like, how do I find the places in the world and in my communities where I can be me and be included, but I'm not conforming. I'm not signing up for things that don't feel good to me anymore. I'm not abandoning myself, which is another thing I think we end up doing
Mm-hmm.
when we're pursuing belonging at all costs,
Right.
which is so natural, so common.
Yeah. That we self-abandon.
Well, yeah, in an effort to not be left out, not
Right.
be left behind, to be included, because that's where, so much of our safety comes from is that sense of belonging,
Well,
not
I think a lot of women self-abandon when they're dating. They, they do things that they don't really want to do
mm,
and to be honest, when you self-abandon when you're dating, it just shows a lack of confidence, which is not attractive. So the best thing is to be feminine, but to not self-abandon. So
mm,
like, I had a friend who was over kind of an acquaintance, and she was saying how, she was paying for a lot of the dates and stuff, and she didn't feel comfortable about that. And that was self-abandoning. Like,
mm,
just sit
mhm,
back and let the guy pay
mm,
if you feel like
mm.
you're doing more or something. So I think we tend to do that to people please. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Well, and that would be so interesting if we were coaching her. Is just like, what were you feeling before you felt like you had to pay? What were you thinking that caused
Hmm.
you to like take that on and feel that way? And so she learns the why behind it, because once you know the why you do what you do, we get so focused on the doing, but it's like
Right.
the why is way more interesting. Why
Right.
are you doing it and would you choose it again? Yes or no. There's no right or wrong answer, but at least understand where it's coming from and why you're doing it, because then you just have more information about yourself. It's
Right.
not, you're not just like, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's, we want to know
Yeah.
and be
That's a good
curious about
point.
our behavior. Mm-hmm.
So you also coach, like you have a coaching program for other women to become coaches. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I help women figure out how to coach. Sometimes it's just they're in a leadership role at work, or they are mentoring people in volunteer work or different organizations they might belong to, or they want to coach other people professionally and have their own business. So I love teaching the skills of
Hmm.
coaching. So much of what I talk to you about today is the kind of thing I teach. I'm very heavy handed on compassion, kindness, building an incredible relationship with yourself. That's where we start. The first part
Hmm.
of the training is all about like healing your relationship with you, really leaning into believing in your whole wise and worthiness is a
Mm-hmm.
tenet of my certification. And then from there, with that foundation, how to have courageous conversations, how to coach others, how to lead with emotional intelligence, and how to understand this human brain of ours that is so brilliant and so frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Right.
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 As I talked about in the beginning. So,
Yeah. And do you, there are a lot of coaches. So
mhm.
how do you tell the people that you coach to stand out, or how do you stand out compared to, it seems like it's kind of a trend now that women and men are becoming coaches, life coaches or coaches. And how do you distinguish a good coach from a not good coach?
So, yeah, coaching is taking off. It's not too dissimilar when personal training kind of had
Right.
a, when it first started, and now there are personal trainers everywhere. This is another area where there are so many people that want to help tackle the mental health crisis that we have, but from a slightly different lens. So I think finding a coaching can be incredibly valuable. Taking time to really have a in-depth conversation with a potential person you would hire is so important.
Mm-hmm.
I think to ensure that the ethics are in place, that you'll receive what you are promised. Not that no one should be promising you these crazy fast results. It just doesn't
Right.
work that way.
Mm-hmm.
But is it a business that is run with integrity, with ethics in place, with policies that stand up? Are there good reviews, testimonials? And then do you just hit it off? Like you and I had that great conversation
Yeah.
last week. Do you just hit it off with the person? Would you want to spend time with them? Would
Right.
you do they create safety for you to share things that you grapple with and struggle with, so that you really can reveal them and move beyond them? So it takes a little bit of work to find the right person for you. And the good news is there are more and more coaches for all of us out there.
Yeah. I think a coach or therapist is very important because uh, I think we don't want to tell our friends everything. And people can't help but judge. I'm not saying everybody, but a friend of mine told me something about her partner the other day, and she thought everyone was judging her because she had disclosed something.
Mm.
And they probably are.
Yeah.
So if you can talk to a coach and be just so candid
Mm-hmm.
and say everything that's on your mind without having to filter it, it's such a relief.
It
Because I
is.
feel like sometimes I'm out with my friends and I'm like, I shouldn't be saying that. And maybe I shouldn't be saying that. Like, I don't want, because they are going to take it and they are going to judge me about it. And then I hear, like, if I do say something, it comes up with another friend, like, remember when you said this? And I'm like, I don't want her to repeat that. Like, that was between us. So I think having a coach where you can just really be yourself and talk about your frustrations, and whether it's like, you don't love your job or you don't love your mate or whatever it is, and just be completely honest is so important. So important for your mental health.
Yeah. Well, you brought up a couple of really important things. You said that we judge, and we do. You're absolutely right. I mean, if I don't know what the number is, but 60,000 thoughts per day, everything we think is a judgment. It's an
Mm-hmm.
interpretation of the world. It's inherently judgy. We're forming an opinion, positive or
Right.
negative or neutral or whatever. So our brains are judging machines. So,
Yeah.
and our friends love us. They don't always have our best interests at heart. They
Right.
sometimes will give us the advice that keeps us the same because that's what feels safe for them and their brains.
Right.
And they're our biggest cheerleaders. And they're sometimes not the person that we want to work all the like nitty gritty details out with. You're absolutely right. So a coach that can hold space, suspend judgment. And this is why I never want to tell clients what to do, because I literally do not know what's best for them. I want to ask a million questions, and I want the client to find their best answer so they can pursue the life that lights them up, that they're so excited about. I don't know what is best for them.
Right.
They know.
They know. Yeah.
I'll help them find it.
Yeah.
And it just makes it so fun, because you never know where it's going to go, where the conversation
That's true.
goes.
You're right. So Katie, did you get remarried after
I
your?
did.
Yeah.
I did. And
So,
it's so crazy. So at the very beginning, when I told you that I went on LinkedIn doing I've got to find my next job in my career, I met my next husband.
Oh, what a great place to meet a husband.
Who was asking me about a job at the company that I just left. We had grown up in the same town.
Wow.
We never had met. There's a little bit of a 5-year age difference between us, so our paths didn't cross. And we started a friendship, and then we met.
Wow, I love that. That is so amazing.
So I was over taking action on LinkedIn, thinking I could pursue this career, and I was only there to ultimately meet my husband, and we've been married 8 years now.
And does he live in the same place that you live? Like the same, or he had to move? Oh, wow, that's so great.
We smushed our families together.
Oh, wow.
And we're making something really, really beautiful. But that didn't come long after me pushing my cart around Whole Foods, actually being like, I think I will be alone forever. I think, I like, people don't even see me here.
Yeah, that's the biggest fear women have.
I know. So
is being alone.
I know. So I'm just saying that again, because I was that woman. And now I have this extraordinary marriage.
But another lens to look at that is, okay, so you found this, and this man found you, this amazing relationship. But I think that women have to say, okay, what is it like if I'm going to be alone?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And look at that face to face and be okay with it, and just be like, okay, what's the worst case scenario? I'm alone. Okay, I make an effort to have a lot of female friends. I go with my friends on trips. Be comfortable with that, so that you're not meeting somebody out of desperation. You're meeting somebody to enhance your life, because you're comfortable with whatever outcome is going to come your way, and that you can roll with the punches.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. Whenever I get annoyed with my boyfriend, I think, worst comes to worst, if I'm alone, I can handle it. I mean, I would rather not be, because I work well in relationship. Like, that's my thing. Mm-hmm. But you don't always get what you want in life. So you have to be able to transition. And in my opinion, I mean, you're the coach, but.
Oh, no, I agree with so much of what you're saying. And I think the reason this marriage is so successful is because I also know no matter what happens, I will be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And first go around, I didn't think I was going to be okay. I didn't think I would make it. Outside of the marriage, I didn't have the courage to end it sooner. Then when it ended, not by my choice, I didn't think I would make it. Then I thought I would be alone forever. And then I kept doing this work, and I kept really confronting that. It turned out that was all a lie. That was all lies my brain was throwing me. My truth is that I will be okay no matter what.
Exactly.
I hope I get to be married to this man forever. I don't know if I will be. Right. We don't know what will happen, but I will be okay.
Yes.
And that would be like, to have more women be able to say that. Oh my God, it would be incredible.
I know. And I think that's what they have to do in order to get to the next step.
Yeah.
Well, if the listeners could remember one thing from today, from our conversation, what would you like to communicate to them?
Oh, Well, there's so many nuggets from what we talked about. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to be who you really, really want to be. Mm-hmm. And it is the most worthwhile work that you will ever do. And courage can come in the tiniest little bite-sized pieces. But if you're willing to be open to being a little more courageous every day, and that might sound like, I'm not going to believe that story my brain's got for me today. Or courage to believe in something that you can't even imagine coming true. There's no downside in believing it. Courage will take you pretty far. And I love that that's kind of where we started at the very beginning when I left my job. But yeah.
I like that.
Courage.
Land on courage. Okay. If my listeners want to get a hold of you, I'll also put this in the show notes, but if you could let them know, that would be great.
Amazing. Thank you. My website is katiepulsifercoaching.com. I have a free quiz there, like a Getting Unstuck quiz. If anyone wants to take it, I will review your results and personally record a voice memo message back to you with some insights and suggestions.
Oh.
My certifications information is there. Private coaching with me information is there. I write a Substack for coaching as well.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit on social media, but you know what? It doesn't bring me a ton of joy. So I'm not spending a lot of time there.
Doesn't bring me a ton of joy too. I think it's just, we weren't raised with it. So it's an effort. Like, not my daughter's an expert, but it's not part of my DNA. So it's hard to,
And instead of forcing it, I'm just my website and Substack. That's where I'm at.
Well, it's great having you, Katie. Thank you so much. And I will be sure to put this in the show notes. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Talk with Tara. If you loved today's episode, please follow the show and share it with a friend. Stay tuned. There's so much more to talk about. See you next time.